hang up or press 1 for more options.
Was something I was really excited about, and now I don't remember.
I'm sure we'll come back. I'm right there with you.
That's the age showing.
Well, what's funny? Well, I'm right there with you though, because yesterday I was like, oh, I've got something really great I'm going to share as something exciting this week, and I don't have to write it down because it's so great. And now I don't remember what it was.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Oh
well, guys, yeah, we'll do that part maybe at the end. I'm sure.
Okay. At my age, Bill, they call that old age. Just saying.
No, we have to say no to that. No, that's not what it is. Not yet, anyway.
Speak for yourself.
I forgot my vitamins today. Guys, we're real excited about our TNT today. Not only do we have dozens of really great questions, but we also have a very special guest with us as well, Miss Carrie Rivera. She is she's a lot of things, but she's a mobile notary, a loan signing agent, a paralegal. She's really kind of embraced the diversity that this business allows. So I'm going to introduce her in just a moment as well. She's also the founder of notaryreviews.org. Carrie, I'm going to unmute you here. Welcome, and thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us.
Thank you for the invite. It's great.
Awesome.
Great to be here.
I'm so glad that you were able to do this for us. I know I finally got to talk to you really in depth yesterday and really get to know you a little bit more and about what you're doing. So we're going to interview Carrie. She's going to share not only the great resource and site that she's creating to help support mobile notaries and loan signing agents, but we're also going to go over 6 tips that she's really passionate about and sharing anyway for notaries who want to start or grow this business. As we get to that, guys, we're also going to be taking additional questions. So to keep with the trend and to honor you for spending your time here with us, I'd like to just take 2 questions from anybody on the call that would like to, like Carol and I's assistants, maybe even Carrie can jump in here too, and see what we can do to help you. If you've already submitted questions, I do have those, and we're going to get to those as well. Anybody have a question live on the call for Carol, Laura, or me? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump over to the questions. And we're going to go through 2 of these real quick here. Carrie, actually, one of these is for you. So real quick, before we actually even get into that, if you could, I mentioned that you kind of wear a lot of hats in your business. Can you kind of share like when you started in the business and how it kind of evolved into the different services that you provide?
Okay. I started about 12 years ago, but before that, I still am a paralegal, specialized in real estate and civil litigation. Used to work for the state of Illinois and, state police, Department of Children and Family Services, banks and real estate. So in 2004, I took an early retirement, kind of wanted to go back into the private sector. Did that for a couple of years, didn't really like it, and then decided to open up my own self-help legal documentation business. I had a lot of friends who were needing help with, just basic documents, filing for divorce or bankruptcy, who really couldn't afford an attorney. And then I had, so I did that, I started doing that, and it became pretty, obvious that there was a strong need out there for this type of service, non-legal, advice service. I had a friend of mine who needed a place to do a notary signing. I had an office, and I invited her, and next thing you know, I thought it was just so cool that she could do that. I didn't know that notaries went beyond just, working for law offices or different types of companies. And I decided to, I wanted to do that type of work too. And since I already had, some knowledge with the legal part of it, as far as, the real estate part of it, I thought it wouldn't be such a bad transition. Big difference though. I did learn a lot. And I've been doing it ever since.
That's fantastic. And then, so you're a paralegal, you're a mobile notary, you're a loan signing agent. Anything else that you do under your business umbrella?
There was a time I married couples, so I had a really nice wedding salon long time ago. But I don't do that as much anymore. But other than that, this is pretty much what I do, and I run the Notary Reviews website now, kind of full time. I still do closings on a part-time basis, but I'm really dedicated to what I'm doing now, as far as with the site and the Facebook group and the website.
That's fantastic. I know we're going to get a chance to really talk about that a little bit too. So let's go through the questions here, if you don't mind, because I know one of them actually pertains to you and how you market your services. And I love that you at least used to do the wedding officiants things too, because I know there's so many of us that are interested in pursuing that as well. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip to this one for you. So question for Carrie is, do you have all of your services on one business card? This young lady is also a paralegal, notary, and signing agent, but she has separate cards. Do you have any recommendations for this?
I used to when I first started out, and it just became confusing to my clients. So, if I'm helping somebody close on their home, I don't want to give them a business card that says, "Hey, I do weddings too." It would be nice, but it's kind of confusing. So I ended up having like the notary, my business name is Chicago Paralegal Notary Services. So that is literally all on one card. When I had the wedding business, it was a totally separate website, totally different card. You want to separate the two businesses. Whenever you do a website, you always kind of want to give a little blurb about yourself, about what you do. And on the websites, then you can explain what you do in another, like you're a notary as well, or you do legal documents. But I would recommend just separate business cards. It's totally up to you. I just found it difficult for me. I just didn't want to confuse my clients.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I ran into that as well. Having different businesses either under this umbrella or not. Most people want the business card that pertains to the business that you're meeting them in. And then I love your point too, Carrie, is you can have a website that just branches out and explains everything. If they're interested in you, they'll jump on there.
Right.
They'll see the other services that you have. And then the other side of this too is if you start implementing some of those other things that we talk about in the morning mastery course and things like that, you're staying in touch with people throughout the year. So you get an opportunity to talk and to share other aspects of yourself, other aspects of your business, and other little business ventures that you might have. That's awesome. Good feedback. And we're going to do one other question here. Carol, maybe you can help us out here as well, or we'll get some feedback as well. So what is the best way to charge for an estate planning appointment? And I think what we're talking about here is just for these last wills and testaments and things of that type of appointment. I know I have some thoughts. Carol, do you have anything on this one? I know this is more general notary work kind of stuff.
It is, and my expertise has always been, of course, the escrow business I was in and notary signing agent.
Yeah.
I did very little as far as general notary work.
Yeah, no problem. Carrie, how about you? I'm sure you've run into these even as a paralegal. From a notary perspective, though, what is the best way to charge for an estate planning appointment?
It really, you have to, in a way, being a notary, a public for your state, you kind of have to know your laws, not only notarial laws, but also laws concerning probate. As far as charging just for general notary work, you charge according to what your state allows you to charge as a notary. I charge only a travel fee. I don't charge any notarization fees because we can only charge $1 and you can't really make money on $1, for example. So whenever I get a call in for, you know, oh, I need, you know, a notary to come help me, you know, sign my will. Well, we require witnesses. So I always ask them, you know, do you have any witnesses? And if we don't have, they don't have any witnesses, and if I have to provide, you know, that's a fee that we can charge. I usually charge like $20, $25 if I have to bring somebody. Same thing with the power of attorney. It really is up to the notary to know if they can even do that if they don't have witnesses, for example, according to their probate laws. So it's really up to the notary to figure out how much they want to charge. Either it's, you know, per signature or travel fee or both. So it's not, for me, this question is not that easy. It's because it really depends on a lot of factors. But again, you know, this is something that, you know, if you're serious about doing this type of business, then you really need to do the research, get to know your notarial laws, as well as how far you can go as far as providing that type of service to the general public who just needs a signature on a will, because it might not be that easy. You understand? I hope people understand.
Yeah. Well, and that's one, I totally agree with you. And that's why I encourage us all to become experts on the notary law in our states, because this industry is craving that. You have to understand what you can do and what you can't do. And it does change by state. And sometimes in estate planning, especially, there are some special restrictions on that.
Yes.
The where did that go? It'll come back to me, but yeah, I should have had that vitamin this morning. Everything's leaving. I'm gonna take one more question here because we've got a great one here from Delmy. I need advice on the following. I got a call for a signing notary from another city begging me to do a signing close to my house. I did it. He offered to pay $150. I've sent him an invoice 3 times and no payment is received and no response to my emails. It's almost been 2 months since the signing. What should I do? Carol, can you help us out here?
I hope he has paperwork, because I would definitely either report him to the title company, whoever hired him. I would try to trace it back and find out. I don't think he had any intention of paying you in the first place. There are people that do these kinds of things. I would try to trace it back through the paperwork. I always suggest to my students, always keep your documents, put them on a flash drive where they're safe. They don't need to be on your computer. Keep them, and keep them for at least a month past the time you get paid. And this is exactly the reason why, that when you don't get paid, you need to go into the background of the signing and try to get in touch with the title company, the hiring service, even the borrower. Although at this point in time, I would not suggest he try to collect from the borrower, but he needs to go after this person, because if they've done it to you, they've done it to somebody else.
Yeah, and then you can usually find that out just even Googling their name if they have a reputation for this type of thing. We just ran into this with a company out of Texas too that was doing this to people. Unfortunately, I love the pursuit of the title company, because most title companies have integrity. In fact, that's why they exist. They want to make sure that everybody who was supposed to have been paid gets paid out of the transaction. So if you reach out to that closing agency, you might be able to get some more information. They probably can't pay twice on the file, but it would definitely affect the relationship that they have with that title company. So what I like to do, and I've only been in this situation a couple of times, is I'll send an email and I'll do some research. I'll get the branch manager, or I'll get the vice president or the president's email, and I'll write the email to them, and I'll copy the person that hired me in on that email. And I'll just say, we've got a problem here. I've attempted collection. I'm so sorry to, inconvenience you with this, but this is how I build a business, and yada, yada, yada. And you send that out, that gets you paid almost instantly. In fact, I've had title companies just cut me a check right away, and then they work it out on that side because they care about their reputation that much. So that's what I would recommend as well.
Would the county clerk's office that they're commissioned in be of any assistance or not?
You know, I guess every county could, but I don't see that being a possibility. Now, what I have seen in as a resolution to the Texas situation is you can actually, because you're a notary public, you can contact the police and file a report for theft of services, for giving services rendered and not being compensated for them, and you can file a police report. I don't know if that's going to be the same in all cities, all jurisdictions, but that's maybe one avenue to go down. It's a lot of work and a lot of hassle for $150 too. So you got to also think, I know there's a certain principle here and we don't like to work for free, but if you're going to spend, 900 hours building a court case to get $150 that you may or may not get, that might not be the best use of your time.
Could you take it as a tax write-off?
I don't know how that works. I can't advise on that.
Yeah.
I would recommend you talk to your tax consultant. I'm sure there's some, but usually companies can write off losses like that too. So I'm sure that we can do that as well.
I have a situation right now I'm dealing with. I have a company that used to be a 5-star company in Arizona, by the way. And I got a letter and then a call from one of my graduates who was not getting paid. They hired her. They have apparently an advertisement on their homepage for Notary to Pro. And she reached out to me and she said she couldn't get it paid. He'd owed her for like 2 or 3 months. And I wasn't even aware of it. We took him off our list because they went down from a 5-star down to a 3-star. So I called him and I said, look, you're not paying my graduate, and I don't know why you have an ad on your homepage for us, because we're no longer recommending people to your company, and I will kind of spread that information out, and I want you to remove my logo from your page. And she got paid within 24 hours. She got a check, but I just got another letter from somebody yesterday, telling me exactly the same thing. So I'm in a situation where I'm not sure how to handle it. I don't want him to be putting an ad for Notary to Pro on his page when he's not paying his notaries. It doesn't look good for us, right? So I could use some.
Yeah, that's at some point too. You always have your attorney option too. A well-worded
legal shield.
Yeah, exactly. A well-worded letter from an attorney gets you paid super fast.
Yeah.
Well, in Legal Shield, that's one of my big reasons I love them, is they offer that service to our small business or home-based business ones too. Okay, let's go back to Carrie. All right, Carrie, I'm going to unmute you now. So now we can hear you again. And I would love, so we have a good idea of where you're at in this business. One thing that I learned about you yesterday that I absolutely loved is that you're in this business for the heart of it. You had mentioned 3 core values that reasons that I love this business. It's the flexible schedule. And I know right now you're in a situation where that flexible schedule means a lot to you on a personal level. You also are in it because there's the reality that we have to make some money. So I love the unlimited income component. And then also you had mentioned being in business for yourself. And I take that a step further in that this is a legitimate business. This is real. This is something that we can be totally proud of and share with people with no reservation. Right. So part of that heart of the business is helping other people. So, and I know we're going to get a chance to talk about notary reviews about a lot about how that ties in. But how else, is there anything else that you'd like to add to why you're in this business?
I mean, other than, when I first started out, it would have been nice to have more resources online. And the resources that are there now, the primary notary forum or directories that are out there now are okay, but I think there's some flaws with that. But other than that, do you want me to start going over the 5 points we discussed, or?
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and jump right in there? In fact, I created that presentation. So what I'll do is I'm just going to pull that up. Bear with me 1 second.
Sure.
Let me get out of this one and into the next one. There we go. So one of the first thing that we're going to do is Carrie's going to share her 6 tips for either new notaries or experienced notaries in creating more peace of mind or joy or income in your business. So let me share this real quick. And these are things that she wished that she would have known in the very beginning, and me too. Carrie and I share a similar story. You know, when I first started out, I didn't know the National Notary Association existed. I didn't know that there was this whole undercurrent of people who were mobile notaries and loan signing agents. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know there was support. At the time, there wasn't much training out there at all. But so we just kind of were bulls in the china shop, and we kind of figured it out. And now we get the opportunity to share this with all of you. So here's the first question or comment. And the reason that this is I'm so passionate about this too, is there's a lot of these companies that walk a very fine line between just being outright scams and frauds and actually being a technical, legitimate business, but still not providing the value. So one of Carrie's first rules, Carrie, why don't you go ahead and take it away on number 1?
Well, the first rule, you know, and we see this a lot, not only with directories, but other types of, you know, pay-to-play type of situations you see online. So, you know, the first point I wanted to make is if you have to pay for work, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. I don't care if you have to pay $3.99 out of your fee to some other organization who's basically acting as the middleman for you to get the closing, or whatever it is. It's just not worth it. I mean, you're the one doing the work. I don't see how paying somebody $2.99 or whatever fee it is really going to help you become successful. You're always going to be kind of stuck in that middleman type of rut. There is a website out there, I won't mention it, but a lot of folks who are part of the Notary Reviews Facebook page already know that on that forum, you know, I kind of blast those people that charge us, you know, for work. And I'm not a fan at all. So, you know, my first rule is if you have to pay somebody for work, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I would say just avoid it.
And we run into that a lot. And I hope we can help some new notaries or people who are just joining the business or thinking about joining the business to avoid those types of companies. You'll get inundated with emails from them. And that should be your first sign. Just saying, hey, $30 a year, $40 a year, we won't take your fee either. You know, you get a lot of those companies. And for the most part, those, and Carrie and the whole echelon of the industry that has a little bit of experience knows those don't pay off, but they take advantage of new enthusiasm. That's correct. Excellent advice. Anything else you want to add on that one, Carrie, or should we move to number 2?
No, we can move on to number 2. That's fine. I think it's pretty straightforward with that one. Yeah,
pretty straightforward. Carol, how about you? I know you have pretty strong opinions when it comes to companies that take advantage of new notaries. Anything that we want to add to this?
Well, when I first got into this business, which was back in, it was either 2000 or 2001, it was scrambling for work was hard. I mean, it didn't matter that I had closed tens of thousands of loans over my, career as an escrow officer and manager. People they tell you, unless you've done 2,000 signings, there's no work. And so you would get all these emails and be inundated by $19 and we'll get you work. And hey, I lost money. Mm-hmm. I paid them my money and I learned my lesson. And now my advice obviously is to my students. There's the the Notary Cafe, the Notary Rotary, the 1, 2, 3 Notary if they choose that. But there's the real ones. Don't put a dime out unless it's the stable, steady. They've been doing it for years and they've proved their worth kind of thing. Just throw it away. I get questions all the time. What about this US something? And what about this one? Just toss it. Don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, utilize your mentors and your support network to find the answers that you need before you shell out any money. That's what we're
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Carol. All right, tip number 2, Carrie.
Yeah, Snapdocs is not the end all be all. A lot of people know that I call Snapdocs snap dumps. Way back when I was a big cheerleader for this platform, you go on Notary Rotary and Google my name and you will see how much of a cheerleader I was, as that stuff is on there forever, for all time on the internet. I realized it was all a farce, or that Snapdocs is not for the notary. I kind of knew that already, but I didn't really know the depth of that. They have algorithms that are geared towards their clients, which basically lets their clients know, if you need a notary in any given area, this is what they're willing to pay. And it's not $100 or $150 or more. We're talking lower than that. So, and it's based on NSAs that actually take those lower fees. So it's some people say they're doing well with it. They like the fees. They're happy with it, and that's fine. That's, if you want to have a mediocre business and stay with Snapdocs and not try to progress or move on into making your business a little bit more worthwhile. If you like that, then that's fine. I'm not going to knock the person who's using it, but it's you don't just sign up and then wait for calls to happen. I mean, that's not how this business is. Again, unless you are that type of person, then God bless you. More power to you. But it like the note here says, it's not the end all, be all. There's other things that you can do to advance yourself in this business, and that's by getting your name out there, taking your business serious. People come into this business for all types of reasons, part-time, side gigs, which is another word I can't really stand. But, and they have full-time jobs. But first and foremost, this notary business, it's a business. And depending on how you want to run it is going to determine how successful you are. So when you first sign up with Snapdocs, remember that it's a platform geared towards their clients, not towards you. If you have a payment issue, you have to deal with it with their client. They will not get involved. They will absolutely not get involved. We've sent hundreds of complaints to them, and they just won't. Their position is, you basically deal with whomever hires you on that platform.
Yeah, and I mean, Snapdocs has their own business model, and the reality is it works for some and it doesn't work for others. But we don't want to just stop at Snapdocs. A lot of the new notaries that get into the business and find themselves disappointed in the first 90 days are the ones that just sign up and wait for the phone to ring. They Snapdocs, and they just expect that that's going to provide all the volume for them. It does take more. And Carrie, one of the great resources, I know we'll dive into that, but is finding quality signing companies outside of Snapdocs has been one of our biggest challenges. And Carrie has a solution for that too that we're going to talk about here towards the end. But for now, just know that there's hope. There's way more hope than Snapdocs. I've never been on Snapdocs. I don't use Snapdocs. And I've created an amazing business for myself. And there are hundreds more of us that have never utilized that. So there is life outside of Snapdocs.
Can I interject something?
Absolutely,
also? Okay, with the advent of Snapdocs, it's very easy. People do get the texts, and they do get paid all of $50, sometimes $40, sometimes $30. What I try to instill in my students is that if they really want to just get the experience, if they're really just out to get some cheap experience, doesn't matter whether they get paid or not, fine. But here's the problem. There are people who stay very busy with Snapdocs. They get so many $40 signings that they're running all the time. When they finally start connecting with companies that are willing to pay them $100, $125, $150, there's no time. They're all booked up with $40 and $50 signings. And that's one of the things I warn my students. Don't get into that situation. You might think you're busy, but you ain't making any money. And what good is that going to do you? So in my opinion, I tell everybody, stay away from Snapdocs. If you have a particular agenda, which is just to get in there and just get your feet wet and get some experience and then get out, then that's fine. But keep in mind, don't get caught up in that, because that's where you're going to be stuck for years.
It can be a trap for sure. But here's the other side too. You got to do what's right for you. You know what your life situation is. You know how much money you need to make. And sometimes you just got to get in there and do it. Everybody's their own. The beautiful thing about this business is you don't have to justify your decisions to anybody. You can take those signings. You don't have to post it in the forum and ask for permission, because you're not going to get it. You're going to get torn apart if you post it in the wrong forum, or you're going to get lots of good feedback, and then you're going to question things, and then the signing is going to be gone by the time you make a decision anyway. So make the decision that's right for you. And Carrie and I are going to talk a little bit about that on part 3. But also know this, the future of this industry does not rely, it's not sitting on your shoulders. It's not going to crumble because you've decided to take that $50 signing. And I know it would be amazing if every notary and signing agent stood up in the world and held hands and said, we are not working for less than $150. It's just not, we're going to unify and do that. That would be amazing, and I hope for it, but that's just not the reality of the world that we work in. So make the decision that's right for you. You're not going to destroy the industry, but also know that when you make those decisions to take smaller signing fees, there is a trade-off. And part of that trade-off is that these companies start to believe that there's people who are going to work that hard. So we have to work even harder to earn those fees down the road, but still make the decision that's best for you. Part 3, that's a perfect segue here, Carrie, because part 3, I know you're really passionate about this. Set your fees and understand your expenses.
Exactly. When we were talking about this yesterday, I realized that, again, there are a lot of people that just come into this business because they either got laid off or a friend told them about it, or they're retired and they still want to work and they want to do something with their lives, continue working and make some money for themselves. Some people are entrepreneurs, some are very young that come into this business. And they're going to be inundated with a lot of forums, a lot of places. And first and foremost, what you have to decide when you get into any business, but especially with this business, is set your own fees according to what your profit margin is going to be. And your profit margin is going to be, it's based on your expenses. After all of your expenses are paid per job, how much profit are you going to have left over? And is that a sufficient amount of money for you? If you take a $40 job here and there and you consistently, like Carol said, take those $40 jobs, I guarantee you, you're not going to make maybe $10 in profit, maybe. I mean, that's not enough for lunch, in some places. So, I can't, when I get a lot of emails and phone calls from people that are just starting out, and I love answering, and helping people out. I believe this is a great profession to be in. And I'm always talking about set your own fees. We talk about these in the Facebook discussions. I'm part of several groups and in Notary Cafe, or I don't participate in 123 or Notary Rotary, and also in our forum. But, people don't really like to talk about fees because of the whole, it's, what is it? Not price fixing. And people just do not understand what price fixing is. But, if we're talking about it in a group forum and we're not agreeing to say, okay, yes, today we're going to set our fees to whatever and nobody work less than that, that's considered price fixing because we're all agreeing to it. There's more to the definition. But, if we're discussing it, it's because we all have to make our own money and set our own fees according to our own needs. So, I can't express that enough. This is a business and you want to make money in this business. That's the whole point of doing this type of work. Especially working for yourself. I mean, you don't want to make $12, $13 an hour. You want to make $150 or more an hour, and your time is also should be included in determining your fees as well.
Absolutely. Time is probably the most important factor in all of that. Maybe not so much in the beginning, but it definitely grows into that very quickly. Excellent. Good feedback. Carol, any feedback on the setting of fees and understanding expenses?
Well, I think that it's very important right from the very beginning to take into consideration, obviously, your print fees. You need to know exactly what it costs you per page to print a document. And then that if you've got 200 pages, you've got a pretty good idea as to what that's going to cost. You need to know what kind of mileage you're getting on your car. I mean, it has to be the details based on what you own, what you use to complete the job. And then, and Carrie hit it right on. Don't forget your time. People will figure it up and they'll say, well, this cost me, $26 to do this particular signing. It's, 180 pages. But don't forget your time. I mean, if you go someplace else, if you go to a McDonald's or if you go to the local drugstore, what are you going to make per hour? And are you going to be happy with that? No, you need to decide what kind of profits you need to make this an exciting and profitable business. And it can be done. People are making a lot of money. Some of my students are just like, wow, wish I could have done that when I was new. But you've got to take every single thing into consideration, all the little detailed stuff.
Yeah,
clothes and everything.
Absolutely. And passion alert, guys. I'm very passionate about the time thing, and there's handwritten a blog article about it. But when it comes to valuing our time, we tend to really overvalue our time when we're trying to decide what signings to take, and we undervalue our time when we're doing other unproductive things. So if you're going to place a value on your time, it's got to apply to all your activities. So if you're not going to take that $80 signing because you're worth more than that and you're not going to take it, so you're going to sit at home and watch Netflix, that is not a good trade-off of time. If you're going to stay at home and not take that $80 signing because you're going to focus on marketing and building relationships that might turn into $150, $200 signings, that is a good trade-off for your time. So always always apply the value of your time to every activity that you're doing throughout your day. Excellent feedback, guys. All right, number 4. Carrie?
We were talking about this a little bit yesterday, and I've touched on it today. Get on the, I want to, not the high quality NSA forums. I want to say maybe not, the high quality shouldn't be the word, should be the more active NSA forums that are on Facebook. Now I know a lot of people are not on Facebook or any type of social media. Well, unfortunately, this is our society today. This is the way things go today. As you see, our wonderful president uses Twitter all the time, unfortunately. But I digress. You need to get on Facebook. You need to advertise your business. You got to get a Google, get on Google, advertise your business. But the NSA forums in particular are where I find a lot of new people coming on into this business. And I get a lot of my requests, questions from those. Now, I wanted to name a few that I like in particular that I am part of. And one of the NSA forums on Facebook, the groups is called A&B Networking with Notaries. Now, Jacqueline Hall is the admin and Jesse Calderon is the moderator. That's a very active group. If you ask a question, somebody is sure to, answer you within, less than 5 minutes. Somebody's always on. Same thing with Notary Public and Loan Signing Agent discussion board. That's Don Ziegler's group. He's the admin. He's very good as well. He kind of stays out of it, but there's a lot of his members that kind of help one another on that site. Another site that I really like and I visit is Stuart Berman's site, Professional Notaries Network. That's another one. And of course, my site, Notary Reviews. I'm a little bit picky when it comes to accepting people into that group because they have to be certified notary signing agents. And I kind of vet who I let into the group because of course we talk about a lot of things, we review and rate a lot of companies, even though now that has gone to the website. But you know, we want to be careful who we let into these groups because there are a lot of people in some of the other groups that I've noticed have nothing to do with this industry who are, you know, who could be potential spammers, whatever. You just got to be careful, you know, on how much information about yourself that you divulge onto these forums because you never know who's lurking. But again, you know, joining these Facebook forums, NSA forums, will help you answer questions. You can do searches within each forum to see if anybody's talked about a particular company. And get feedback as well. You don't even have to really participate. You can kind of just do your own research on these forums. When it comes to, you know, getting your client list together, which is very important because you do in this business want to produce a client list, not only so that you can get, you know, additional work from them, but to keep in touch with them as well. As with any business, you always have a client list. And it's very important that you keep that up. So for, you know, up-to-date information, check on those NSA forums on Facebook. They're going to help you out a lot.
Yeah, that's great feedback, Carrie. And gold star for you for talking about your client list and staying in touch. I'm a huge advocate of that. That is how you create long-term relationships and proliferate your business. Now, Carol, I believe you have, Carrie and I were talking about your Facebook group as well yesterday. You have a Facebook group.
Yeah, I have one that's called Notary Professionals. They have to give us a commission, proof of commission. I only want notaries. We don't want any signing services, title companies, people that really are not dedicated to the profession. I think we've been around for about, I can't remember, maybe 8 or 10 months. I've got, I think, just short of 3,000 members. Really good, have some really interesting conversations. And then I do have a private group just for my graduates.
Right.
And of course that's growing, which is nice. But I love Carrie's. I think what she's doing is great. And she and I become buds.
Good.
Yes, yes.
That's so.
What's the name of your group again, Carol?
Notary Professionals.
And whenever you guys decide to join these online forums, I encourage you to be diligent and protect your space. You want to be in an environment that is going to support it's going to be supportive and positive and not going to annihilate you. And there are several that will do that. We can't, when you're moderating a group, we can't control everybody. So sometimes it happens, but you want to choose these. And Carrie and I are on the same page with these are the types of groups that will help you out and you'll feel somewhat safer in those groups.
I have 4 administrators beside myself, and we don't allow any of that. It happens occasionally, but they're gone as soon as they get caught. Yeah. This is a place where we want support and caring and nurturing and taking care of each other, and not some place where people bash each other. And it does happen every once in a while, but usually I not only delete the conversation, but I delete the person behind it.
Yeah, that's good. We got to protect that space. And at Sign and Thrive, we do the same thing in our private Facebook group. If you're part of Sign and Thrive and you haven't joined that group, you're going to want to. Same thing with the Notary Elites and the Notary to Pro graduates. And then Carrie's Good, Bad, and the Ugly Notary Reviews as well. Now, that kind of brings us right into number 5, which was ask for help and collaboration, right, Carrie?
Yes. A lot of us, don't ask for help. We have a pride, or for whatever reason, we just don't ask because we don't want to be chastised or we get embarrassed. When I started doing this work, the first forum that I joined was Notary Rotary, which was sort of my mistake. And I was there for many, many years, and it's kind of not a really good site to ask for help because they don't like newbies, and I was chastised a lot, and I got beat up pretty bad. But they have a collection, because they've been around since like 2002, but they have a collection of information there that I still go back to and do research on different companies and other stuff, but Notary Reviews, for example, is a place where you can go and ask for help. These NSA forums on Facebook are places where you can ask for help. If you know somebody who is a signing agent, whether they're in your area or not, or you're friends with them on Facebook or on Notary Cafe or whatever, ask for help, because it's only going to help you understand your business more, or it could be something just very, very simple. And I can't explain that enough, or say this enough. Just and collaborate with your fellow peers. For example, here in Chicago, it's a very big city, and we have various different neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods are not too great. Some of them are wonderful, but because it's such a huge city, I network with 5 other notaries that if I can't do a closing, I'll refer that closing out to them. And vice versa. So it's worked out great. Yes, they're my competition, but you know what? There's enough business out there for everybody. So I would encourage those that if you do know, if you're somebody that needs help, you see them ask a question somewhere online, reach out to them, help, ask them, give them the help that they need,
Yeah. So, and I love that where you're going with this, because we need to feel safe enough to ask for help. Realize that people are not necessarily competition, they're colleagues, and that they can support us. We can become a resource for our clients when we have other people to collaborate with and refer business out to. And then you just touched on number 6, is reach back and help those that are maybe a step or 2 behind you in this process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy for us whenever we get into hustle mode and we start getting some traction. That's where I notice it. When business is starting to go, you get so excited, and then we forget that there's other people behind us that could use a little guidance and assistance.
Yeah, and I get that. After a while, you kind of get burnt out. When I first started doing this business, it was during the time where we were actually getting our fees. So I was making a lot of, 3-figure fees with no negotiations, and I was doing per day, maybe 6 closings per day. And it was just crazy. Then the mortgage fiasco happened, and then I was like struggling like everyone else. But, even then I would stop to help somebody else out because they asked me. And, if you don't have the time, if you're like in a rush, let them know, hey, you know what, can I get your number? Can we talk later? Can we chat online later? And I'll help you out. And that's just such a nice thing to do. We live in a society where everyone's pretty much closed off and don't really want to, bother with other people. And I think that with this particular business, because we're such a unique profession, I mean, nobody really knows of what a notary signing agent does unless, they ask somebody or they do the research online. But, give back, to those that are doing this business as well. You don't have to give them your competition list. You don't have to give them your secrets to your own business, but, give them some advice, give them some honest feedback. Maybe they don't want to go into this business. Maybe they just want to know, the basics. Maybe they can't become a notary because of whatever reason. I mean, it's just to be nice, because I'm telling you, when I first started out on that website over there, they were just not nice. And I just found that was just such a mean thing to do to people. And I myself turned into like, ooh. But now I'm so happy that I'm in a much better place. And, I want to share what the knowledge that I know with others, because, you know, if it helps them personally in their lives to make money because they can't work full time or they need a part-time job for whatever reason, then I've done my job as a like a human being. You know, I feel like I've done something good for somebody. You know?
I think that's a really good point, Carrie, because the reality is when you're passionate about this business, when you see what this business does for other people, then we almost have a responsibility to share it, because this business is a vehicle that can change lives. It can make other stuff happen for people. I love that.
Agree.
So that was a great share. Thank you so much for sharing on those 6 topics. I know I want to make sure that we have time to talk about notary reviews, though, because I love what you're doing over there. Before we do that, Carol, do you have anything else that you'd like to add to the last 2 on there about helping people and reaching back and helping others?
Yeah, you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I was just sitting here, honest to goodness, and I was thinking, I am the luckiest person alive, because I get to do this every single day. There's not a day of my life that goes by that I am not helping somebody to grow, to change, to be more confident. I'm very lucky. And when you, even when you're just, you know, you're just doing the work and sharing with somebody else, it's just a great thing. I learned about networking in Phoenix. We had a lot of competition back then, and there was about 5 of us that were the top 5 signers in that area. And we started getting together, and we began to trust each other. And when you form a networking group like that, where you trust one another, oh, it's so great to call Susie and say, hey, I've got a signing here and I can't do it, and can you handle it? And just know that they're going to do it, and you're helping them, you're helping the clients. Yeah, great thing. But I'm very lucky. Just want the world to know it.
And now we do. And I totally agree with you. You know, I used to pinch myself when I was just a signing agent and just thinking, oh my gosh, is this real? Am I really this excited about what I do? Is it changing my life? Do I make that much money every single day doing something that's legal? And it's true, you really do. And now this, the course and having these types of calls and sharing this business and watching so many others prosper in it, it's really a gift. All right, Carrie, I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about notary reviews, because like I said, I'm excited about what you're doing. You've created an amazing resource. Can you tell us about notary reviews, in particular, the list that you've created?
Okay, so notary reviews, and I'm going to try to do this quickly so we can finish on time. It's a modern website for notary signing agents only. It has the same elements as the other major websites that are out there now, like 123, Notary, Rotary, and Cafe. The only there's several differences. One, our forum is not made available to the public. So what we discuss in a forum is password protected at all times. I just don't believe in sharing that type of information. Whether it's good or bad, you know, people will take it out of context, and it can be detrimental to you and your business, as it has actually happened to myself. But it's a wonderful site. It's modern. I created it myself. I'm not a techie person, but you learn over the years when you're running your own business and you don't have money to hire some people to do this stuff. You know, you just kind of learn on the fly. You know, not only can you ask questions, but, you know, there are different aspects within the forum that you can talk about, like printer, you know, what's the best printer, or asking for advice. So within the forum itself, there are different other type of topics of discussion. The main one, obviously what we do is in notary reviews, is we review clients, our clients. And our clients are those hiring companies that hire us. And the list is that I provide on the website is actually called the Notary Reviews Client List. And we have over 400 and, let's see, to date, I thought I had this, like over 430 companies so far listed. that have 437 that have been reviewed. Not every single one has been reviewed. Most of these have been reviewed or at least discussed at one point on our Facebook group forum. But they are all listed. I have not only the name of the company, but what platform they use, whether it's signing order or Title Pro. I have them listed as a signing service or title company or attorney. I have their address, all their data information. I have who owns the business, how many businesses that they've owned in addition to that business. And I've also have the list color coded. We have, you know, if you see something in there that's listed in red, then you know it's a company you need to stay away from. No doubt if it has a 0 next to it as far as the rating, it's been reviewed as just a horrible, horrible company to work for. If the company is listed in Schoolhouse Yellow, for example, it's a company that's got like reviews in the 2s, 2.0, 2.5. They're still a good company to work for, but there have been issues either with non-payment or slow payment, or the packages were kind of screwed up or lack of communication or whatever. And then I also have it listed as the companies that are directories. And we've got quite a few NSA directories listed on here. And when I post these companies up in our forum, I'll ask people to review and rate them if they've ever used them. And we'll have the ratings listed next to the company as well. I even have all the names of the various platforms that are out there, like Qualia and signingorder.com, that, for example. I don't have a lot of reviews for those, but the point of the whole list is there's nothing like it out there right now. You have a list from Notary Rotary, which unless you're a member, you can't see the list and you can't see the particulars of the company, from my understanding. So you have to pay like $79 to become a premier member, which I think is pretty high to begin with, especially for us, for those that are starting out. Our fees are pretty reasonable. If you're a non-certified notary signing agent, the fee is $30 per year. But if you are certified by the NNA or a graduate of Notary 2 Pro, and now Bill Soroka's students, the fee is only $20 a year. And I think that's pretty reasonable to have, if anything, to get this particular list, which is updated monthly and on an Excel spreadsheet and available for everybody to download. Of course, the rule of thumb, it's, don't share it with anybody outside of the membership. We do ask this, and I understand that, it may not happen, but it's an honest list that's reviewed by notary signing agents only. And there's no other list like this out there right now.
Yeah, Carrie, this is a tremendous value. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I want to make sure that we really address where the real value is on this. We're loan signing agents. We're trying to grow our business. You've got instructors and mentors like Carol, myself, Laura. We're urging you to sign up with as many quality companies as possible. Sometimes that's going to be upwards of 100, 150. What you've created, Carrie, is a resource that puts all of that with current contact information all in one place. So that you have done what nobody else has time to do in their everyday life. And even the Notary Rotary, I send people there all the time, but that list is antiquated and frustrating. So I'm so excited to be introduced to you in this resource so I can send my students and my audience to your site. This is what the industry has been craving, and I honor you for setting that up. And guys, $20 a year to support that level. I mean, I told her yesterday, that's too cheap, but that is the price for the full year. It's $20 and you get access to this monthly. It's updated every single month. So it's tremendous value to help you grow your business. And if you haven't signed up with at least 100 companies, and right now you're reliant on signing companies, you need to do that. And this is the list that's going to help you get you there.
Yes, I agree. I mean, lists from all over the country. I encourage encourage people to join our Facebook group as well. I encourage people to join the website. And the biggest fear I get a lot is people, like, well, I have a lot of competition in my area. I don't want to give away. I don't want to review the good companies that I work for. It's kind of ridiculous because, we all can make money in this business, no matter where you're at. And you're not exactly giving away your competition. You're helping your fellow notary who may be in another state wondering about, is PDQ Notary in, St. Louis, Missouri, are they a good company to work for? And if you've worked for them, we encourage you to say, yes, I've worked for them. I did a refi. I gave them a 5 or a 4 or whatever. And because you're helping out your fellow notary. And this is one of the main reasons why I created this list, is because of that. And I just, the other lists that are out there are so unreliable. Some of those companies are already closed. And then you have some ruthless people who are still, creating signing services, for example, and still ripping off notaries. We're on top of that all the time. So I encourage people to please, you want to help your business, this is a start.
This is a great start. And this really is the epitome of collaborating and helping other people. This is a way that you can contribute to other people's success, both directly and indirectly. Hi.
Can I interject something really quick?
Absolutely.
Because I think it's very important, and I do talk to my students about this. We all know that there's companies out there that are really bad. And if you have to try to find them while you're on the phone, you're taking an order, you can't go look them up. It's impossible. But what you can do, and some people are going to really disagree with me, but it's worked for me. Let's say you take a signing. Now you go to check them out. You've never heard of, AFG company, and you go to check them out, and you get to notary reviews, and you find out they micromanage. They don't pay you all of your money. You usually get shorted on your check. In other words, they're a bad company. I have been known many times over the years to call back and tell that person that gave me the assignment, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to turn down this assignment because I just did my research and found that you're a company that disrespects notaries, and I won't work for you. And I just throw it right back at them. If you find yourself in that situation and you go to the notary reviews and you find that you're about to work for a company that you probably won't get paid for, don't be afraid to call them back and tell them, you don't respect your notaries, I'm not working for you. Go find somebody else to do the job.
That sounds like Carol. I love it. And here's what the thing is, sometimes people struggle doing that because they feel like it's out of integrity, but there's also a higher level of integrity to the industry, to yourself. You can honor yourself. You're not going to go to work for a company that is for sure not going to pay you or is going to nickel and dime you on everything that comes across. You owe it to yourself and your industry to stand up for yourself.
Thank you.
So. You're welcome, Carol.
And
all right, awesome, guys. Carrie.
One last thing about the list is that it's downloadable. So you can keep it, you can print it out and keep it on your person at all times. It's, you can even have it on your phone or wherever, next to you while you're driving or whatever. So you can quickly look up in a company and see their rating from 0 to 5. And if they've got a 0 or 1, that's a company you want to avoid. And you can either say right then and there, yes or no, whether to take the assignment or not, and know that that company was actually reviewed by somebody who actually worked for them and had a bad experience. Or that's a 5 great. Next to the company, and they're great to work for, so go for it. So it's a really good resource.
That's great, Carrie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I just want to honor you for the effort that it takes to do that. I appreciate Excel spreadsheet nerds that color coordinate things and have drop downs and everything. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you for doing this for the industry and for us to help us grow our business. And thank you for taking so much time out of your Tuesday morning to share that with us. Guys, I'm going to send this out via email. We'll have the link. We'll have it posted to YouTube. We'll have it posted to TuesdayTitans.com. That is our official website for the TNT calls. Carol, thank you so much again for sharing your Tuesday morning. I know we all appreciate it. Everyone, thank you for spending time growing yourself and your business this Tuesday morning. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.